Hey Jan, how's it going? Alrighty. Okay, let's see if we can get Phoenix Wright wrapped up before... Goggles! 3-month gift subscription courtesy of Cara Fruit has entered month 3. Yep, thanks for sticking around with that. And thank you, I don't think Cara's in the chat at the moment, but thank you, Cara. How's it going, Goggles? It's going good. You're playing a hack that drastically improves the NES Metroid. It has a map. Okay. Game feed's working. Webcam's working. Is audio okay? Sounds good, Jan? Excellent. Alright. We have 2 hours 20 minutes until I have to be there for D&D and play an evil mime. As for you, just returned home from out of town, finally have good internet. Nice. Okay, so to reiterate, our client is guilty as heck, but he has a hardened assassin who's taken our assistant hostage, so we have to find either stall long enough for her to be found and rescued, or get him off. Phrasing. And for some reason I decided to finish right on a judge line, so let's see if I can do this voice immediately. Hey Kiara, if you could just give yourself a shout out, if you could just give Goggles a shout out, just give everyone a shout out. Well, thank you for giving Goggles a shout out anyway. There. I've given Kiara a shout out, I think. Wait. Ah, that didn't work for some reason. There we go. We're friends, that's why I'm going to subject you to the ordeal of being known. Everyone follow Kiara Strings. She's awesome. Also follow Goggles because he is also awesome and he does many Metroid streams. Out of interest, does this improvement to the original Metroid add anything other than the map? Good, well now we convene. The killer, the man who murdered the victim, handed this to the client. From this, one obvious question arises. Why this particular item? I believe the answer to that question will provide us with the name of the real culprit. Now then, the prosecution calls the defendant's manager, Adrian Andrews, to the stand. Currently, the witness is accused of tampering and obstruction of justice. However, you have been called to the witness stand today to ascertain who exactly is guilty of murder. Is it the defendant, the murderer, or society itself? There's a lot built in. A rando, an entire extra planet. Wow. Drastically improved animations for Samus. Multiplayer? Multiplayer Metroid, you say? To be honest, one thing I'd love to see that's never seems to have really been done is a multiplayer Metroidvania. Oh, thank yous. Send me the links. Send me all the links. Who exactly is guilty of murder? I understand. Very good. Now, have you ever seen this bear before, Miss Andrews? And a link to droid. Of course I have. You've seen it before? That's right. It's only natural that the witness has. Miss Andrews, could you please enlighten the court to this bear's secret? All right. Why? Why does she? The bear figurine. Actually, this is an elaborate puzzle. If you know the correct order, it can be taken apart one piece at a time. At its centre is a small cavity, with just enough room to store a small item. Because of its complexity, if you don't know the order, you can't open the bear. You really can't tell that it's a small jewellery box just by looking at it. Oh, thanks for the retweet, Kiara. So, this figurine is a container of sorts, is it? Yes, looks can be deceiving, wouldn't you agree? Yes, this is superb craftsmanship. Oh yes, I nearly forgot. You may begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright. It looks like there really was something to that bear after all. Jan, the droid demands order in the court. Goggles, something to bear in mind. Sensible treckle.jpg. Puzzle. That's right. It looks like an ordinary figurine. True enough. To people who don't know, I'm sure they would never guess this was a puzzle. So, what kind of puzzle is this exactly? So you can take it apart? How'd one go about doing that? Well, you first turn its tail to the right, then push it in. Oh yes, I see. After that, the arms and legs are free to move and can be removed. Oh, this is most interesting. Boy and his new toy. It's like he's 5 all over again. Oh, don't mind me. Go ahead and carry on. I think he's lost it. So, what do you find after you take the puzzle apart? And how do you know about this? I know, because I was the one who bought it. Huh? It was a souvenir from when a friend and I went to Switzerland. Then this? This was a present from you? That's right. It was a puzzle in the shape of a bear, so I thought it would be perfect for one. So it was a present from Miss Andrews. Witness, please, let's continue with your testimony. So, who exactly knew how to solve this puzzle? Only the two of us, Juan and myself. It was a souvenir from Switzerland. So I doubt there are that many people with this same bear in this country. But this looks like it can be easily broken. Especially if someone wants to get out what's inside. Well, it's a toy. But it can never be the same again once it's been broken. Who else knows that this bear is actually a small container or jewellery box? I never told anyone. And as long as one never told anyone either, then only the two of us knew. The two of you, huh? Then of course that means Mr. On Guard didn't know, right? I think this is about all I'm going to get for now. Figurine updated in the court record. A wooden puzzle with a hollow inside. Only Creeder and Andrews knew how to open it. Well, Mr. Wright, I think even you have to come to realise that there's one very important fact we have uncovered, and it is this. This bear is actually a jewellery box. Now that we have agreed to this point, there is only one logical question that can come next, and that is this. What is inside this box? What's inside the box? What's inside? That's right. That is what we're going to find out next. Witness. Yes? You're the only one who can open this. Please. There's a painful silence hanging over the courtroom. All eyes are on Miss Andrews now as she solves the puzzle and takes the bear apart. Hey, Sarah. Hey, bread friend lovely. How are you doing today? I've opened it. Having a nice evening? Is this what you wanted? What's that? It looks like a note. I don't think we need to guess at what that is, do we, Mr. Wright? It's the suicide note. The suicide note? Oh yeah, content warning suicide. Plays heavily. The suicide of Adrian Andrews' mentor plays heavily in her backstory. And she became suicidal as a result of it. You're sleepy? Haha, went to sleep early. How am I? Yeah, I'm good. Had work this morning, came home, ate something quickly, took a nap, and now I'm streaming. And of course D&D later. A suicide note left by Juan Creeder's former manager, Celeste Pax. Until now, no one knew of its whereabouts, But just as we suspected, it was hidden. Hidden by the victim, one creator himself. It seems Celeste Impax had very beautiful handwriting. Oh, thanks for the retweet, Sarah. And she just as beautifully signed her own name on this document. This is most definitely the note she left right before she committed suicide. Order? Witness? Did you know about this? Yes, I did. I heard it all about it from one. When I discovered his body, I looked for the bear. I wanted to destroy the note before it became public. But I couldn't find it anywhere. Because it had already been taken by the killer. Everything is going at Mr. Edgeworth's pace. So now that the suicide note has been found, what's the next logical question? What is written on the note? That's right. At least that's how I would think. Now, I believe it is only appropriate that the contents of this note be made known. Poor Andrews. I can't stop you, can I? I went through so much just to get my hands on it. And I was going to burn it, for her sake. I'm deeply sorry, but I can't allow you to persuade me to stop. Your Honour, if you could please read the contents of the note aloud? Very well. Oh my god, I'm going to read the contents of a solemn suicide note in the judge's voice. The judge's voice rang loud and clear through the deathly silent courtroom. In her note, Celeste Impax left us to a record of all that had happened to her. Okay, guess not then. About being used and then thrown away by On Guard. About being engaged to Corrida and On Guard's role in destroying that. And about how she decided in her despair to end it all. And that's all Miss Impax had to say. I'm so glad they didn't actually have the text of the note in the game. There's only one thing I'd like to say here. The prosecution has no interest in slandering Mr. On Guard. Then what? Our intention, Your Honour, is to establish a motive for murder. Yep, glad you agree, Sarah. Isn't that correct, witness? Oh, hang on a second, phone's going. Sorry about that. Oh, you missed me. Thought everyone sounded strangely quiet. Isn't that correct, witness? Yes. On the night of the murder, one was going to make the contents of the note public. After the post-ceremony show, he was going to hold a press conference. My word! Matt on guard values, above all else, his refreshing like a spring breeze image. Which is why he had to stop this note from being made public. At any cost. Celeste's suicide note added to the court record. Found inside the figurine. It tells of Vanguard's horrible misdeeds. It's Vanguard's fault that woman killed herself. And this time he even went so far as to kill someone else to stop him revealing that. How terrible. What a selfish person. I guess there's some liable lawyers out there who'll defend these creeps too. There's no room for doubt here. Mr. De Killer's client's goal was to obtain this suicide note. And the only person who needed this note that badly is the defendant. Let's not forget that the bear with the note inside was found at the defendant's house. But how do you know it was in there? It seems that we have come to the truth at last. The defendant's motives were entirely selfish. He deserves no sympathy from anyone. How am I supposed to escape from this one? Why the hesitation, Phoenix? Gumshoe hasn't called yet, so you know what you must do. I know. I have to carry on and buy him some more time. Okay, there are two deadly pieces of evidence. The figurine and the suicide note. Maybe somehow I can find a way out of this situation through one of those. The gavel is already in the judge's hand, Phoenix. Hurry. The suicide note or the figurine. Which of those should I pursue? Okay. Well, first things first, I'm going to pursue the figurine. Partially because I do not want to do anything about questioning the suicide note. Secondly, because obviously there's only two people who could open it, and the defendant isn't one of them. Please wait, Your Honor. Oh man, look at that lawyer. He's still going at it. It's like he doesn't care that he's trying to get a killer off the hook. The assassin took this with him from the crime scene after murdering Mr. Creeder. At the request of the client, his client, of course. So, what's your point, Mr. Wright? I don't think it's possible for that Mr. Killer's client was Matt on guard. In fact, I think there's a contradiction here. You can't tell just by looking at it that this bear's really a jewellery box. The chances that Matt on guard thought the note was inside this bear are 0 to none. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Exactly, but I did think of it that way, and I thought it was rather strange. After all, there's no reason why Mr. On Guard would ever want a jewellery box like this. Or is there? Order! 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 You make a valid point, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? It was just a flash, but I think I did rather well on this one. Unfortunately, I think he believes differently. I believe a show of appreciation is in order. Huh? The defendant seems to be in love with wishing more despair upon itself. I'd like to direct the court's attention to this. What's that? It is a very small video camera, Your Honour. This type of camera is commonly used as a means of spying. Spying? What the? I thought that spy camera was in my possession. Masson Guard and the victim both thought of the other as their biggest rival. They even went so far as to use this type of item to find each other's weaknesses. And? Hey Nolus, how's it going? Oh, you'll be right back, okay. The victim, one Creeder, was being spied upon. His personal life was being watched by none other than Masson Guard. Order! Order! Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. You don't tell me you knew about your client's spying activities? Well, sort of. Sort of is not an acceptable answer, Mr. Wright. I see you're confused, Mr. Wright. You're probably thinking, but I have the camera that was in the stuffed bear's eye. But this camera that I have is not the same one. Last night, I searched the victim's house on a hunch. Using this. Gumshoe's bug sweeper. By the way, Mr. Wright, the defendant's fingerprints were found on this camera. Masson-Guard's fingerprints are on there? Well, Phoenix, it looks like those cameras were hidden all over the place, huh? What am I supposed to say to that evidence? I think this is the end. It's fairly obvious that Mr. Ungard learned of the suicide note through this. He was watching the victim all along. He got me good this time. I don't have anything to counter that. Hey, now what's that lawyer thinking? Mummy, is that bad killer guy? Shh, stop, don't look at him. The way he's sweating is just so, ew, nasty. Phoenix. Yes, Chief. Have you figured out what you're going to do next yet? What am I going to do next? Does running away like a frightened child work? Oh, thanks for hosting, Kiara. Sorry, I didn't notice that earlier. I know it seems like Mr. Edgeworth is very close to putting the lid on this case, but in his eagerness to prove his point, he forgot one very important thing. What's that? That we're both actually conspiring to drag this out for as long as possible. Oh, just when I was on the phone. Makes sense. Thanks, Sarah. Well, what is it, Mia? He didn't call her Chief. There's a piece of evidence that he really should investigate. Something he should investigate? I'd really hate to see the good prosecutor get scolded for not remembering to look into the item when he had the chance. Why are you speaking in riddles all of a sudden? Because you have to learn, Phoenix. Alright, I think this time we finally understand everything. Well, Mr. Wright, you don't have any further objections, do you? Where's this piece of evidence that Mia's talking about? Can I figure out what it is that still needs to be looked at, or should I let it go? I have an objection, Your Honor. That was about the weakest objection I've ever heard, Mr. Wright. Objection! Your Honor, the defense has no intention of letting this go so easily. You're beginning to sound desperate. That's just your imagination, Your Honor. Wow, gaslighting the judge much, Phoenix? Goggles, you've sent me a link to the massively improved Nestroid. Oh, thank yous. Mr. Edgeworth, this is not like you at all. In your eagerness to prove your point, you've forgotten one very important thing. Yes, Jan, improved Nestroid, featuring apparently maps, improved animations, extra planet, and multiplayer. Hey, isn't that what I just said? So, you're telling me I forgot something? You're so close, Mr. Edgeworth. But there's something you really should examine about this piece of evidence. I have links enabled. I'm not sure I do. I can't remember the command for it. I know I've got the command set up to enable them, but I can't remember what it is. Hang on. I'm assuming you sent it to me on Discord. I'll just grab it from there. Just be a second. And paste. Yeah, you might need to copy and paste that link because it's not formatted properly. Anyway, a thrilling conclusion. Okay. Which piece of evidence? Metro construction's links are a time. What is the overlooked piece of evidence? Yep. The funky, intense music is playing. I have no idea what I'm doing here. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, I do believe some special examination is needed. But I think the item that should be examined is the defence's grey matter. Whoops. Mr. Wright, after this trial is over, I'd like to see you in my chambers. I think there are a few things we need to discuss. Yes, Your Honor. If you're going to speak, at least use your brain to make up something intelligible. Hey, Nolus. Yep, I need to work out what the piece of evidence I need to show the court is. How's your day going? Okay. You know what, screw it, I'm gonna save Scum. They're powerless to stop me. You made an appointment with the psychiatrist the other day, so that was constructive. Excellent. What has he forgotten? Oh. That is Miss Impax's suicide note, right? Okay, so it just occurred to me. Agent Andrews has just as much motive to want the suicide note. No less. I'm going to save Scum, and they can't stop me. Introducing surprise prosecutor, Sans Undertale. Okay, you got me there. Who knows? Typical. The moment I decide to cheat is the moment I don't need to. I mean, sure, this suicide note was found inside this bear, but this bear was in my possession until only a few moments ago. Which means the handwriting on this suicide note has yet to be analysed. Oh! So, as to whether this pivotal piece of evidence was really written by Miss Impax or not, that has yet to be even remotely confirmed. But Mr. Wright, you can't seriously be suggesting... Mr. Wright, are you saying the suicide note is a fake? Miss Andrews, you're the one who tried to pin this murder on Mr. On Guard. Who's to say you didn't create a fake suicide note and put it into this bear? Wow, Phoenix. How dare you? Your Honor, the defense is indiscriminately accusing the witness again. There is no evidence linking the witness to the suicide note whatsoever. But if this is a fake, then the witness is the only person who could have made it. What? Recall the witness's testimony concerning this figurine. The only person other than the victim who could solve the puzzle is the witness herself. Miss Andrews, you wrote this note, didn't you? You wrote it so you could use it to frame Matt and Guard. I did no such thing. Right, if you're going to pronounce this suicide note a fake, then show this court some evidence to support your theory. Mr. Edgeworth, you're the one who presented this scrap of paper as evidence. That means the burden of proof lies with you, the prosecution. Thanks for using that quote, Nurlus. That's enough. Mr. Edgeworth, can you confirm the handwriting on this suicide note? It is as the defence has stated. The handwriting is yet to be analysed. If that's the case, it seems that yet again we have reached a point where a verdict is impossible. That's impossible. This isn't good, Phoenix. The judge is going to carry this trial over one more day. I don't think Mel will physically be able to make it another day. I didn't want to have to do this, but I don't have a choice. I was going to go to bed early tonight. We appear to be one of those impasses, no less. I request that both the prosecution and defense further investigate. I don't think I'll allow this to my butt. It's just the lawyer trying to buy more time. Thank God it's guilty. Look, any idiot can tell you that. I think we've reached the end of the line. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty. Oh. Phoenix really should have switched his phone off in court, just said. What is that sound? It's Gumshoe. Beep. Hello, Gumshoe. What's with him? And what's that sigh? Where's Mayor? What happened to the killer? Yeah. He got away. What? No less. Denial. That's actually surprisingly hard to keep saying quickly in a row. What? I'm sorry, pal. I really am. I don't know what to say besides I'm sorry. I wish there was some way to make it up to you. I really do. Oh, Nirvana. Kiara, fake news. Notice is broken. Anyway, what's going on? We found his hideout, pal, but the two of them are already gone. This is terrible. I'm gonna keep looking for them, pal. Don't you worry. I just need a little more time. But don't tell me we don't have any more. Guilty, 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 guilty. The jury's collaborating on a book titled Burn in Hell, Matt on Guard, You Guilty, Guilty Bastard, which is objectively the best joke in all of TV tropes. Kiara, high low, high low, high low, high low, high low. I don't get all these references. I'm not cool enough. Do you hear that? They're calling for his head. Literally, they brought back the guillotine for some reason. Mr. Wright, I can't. For us to come this far and... Oh. What is it? Let me talk to Mr. Edgeworth. I can't do that. Mr. Wright, would you please get a hold of yourself? Yes, Your Honor. I'm about to end today's proceedings. You may take your phone calls after... Hold on, Your Honor. Edgeworth, catch. Mr. Edgeworth. Please, you got to buy us some more time. Court is in session. Beep. I'm sorry, Your Honor. You were saying? Mr. Wright, this is a court of law. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but... I'm reluctant to do this. However, it appears that I have no choice but to suspend proceedings until tomorrow. This time I really can't do anything. Court is now adjourned for the day. Please wait, Your Honor. Edgeworth. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? I humbly request another 30 minutes of Your Honor's time. For what purpose? We can perform the necessary tests on this piece of evidence in that time. But can you really obtain your results in 30 minutes? I believe we can, Your Honor. But wouldn't it be better if we adjourn for today and then reconvene tomorrow? 30 minutes. Please, Your Honor. That's all I'm asking for. Oh, you Googled the lyrics and it's hello. Please, Your Honor. Very well. At the prosecution's request, this court will now take a 30-minute recess. But be advised, I will not allow another recess today. It's a good cartoon and you can't just binge it all in one go. I'm not sure this is helping or hurting us. Hey Trans Fox Girl, how's it going? The court will now take its final recess of the day. Going well? Excellent. Oh, thanks for giving Trans Fox Girl the shout out, Kiara. March 23rd, 2:04 PM. District Court, courtroom lobby number 3. Right. Well, what's going on with Mayor's situation? Dear killer, it looks like he got away again. 30 minutes. We can't find her in that time. Ugh. Beep. Report. But before we continue, so basically we're more or less at the end of the game. What's happened is Gumshoe's trying to track down Maya, who's been kidnapped by an assassin, and they're basically trying to drag out the trial for as long as possible to give them enough time to catch him, because obviously he's threatened to kill her if Riot doesn't get the verdict by the end of the day. Oh yes, and there was a suicide note in the weird toy bear. So, which is clearly real, but Phoenix is trying to bluff and say it's fake to get more time. And Edgeworth is helping there by calling for it to be analysed immediately. Anyway, report. Is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time. Just spit it out. Right. Looks like we just missed them, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? Oh, I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now and I'm on my way over. Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. We don't have time to wait for those guys, sir. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I've got to put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this. Well, what are they going to do? Cut his wages even further? With my hunk-of-junk car, I'd say I'll be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Yep, the spirit of Sparrowson, no less. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that'll be decisive enough to end this. That wasn't a good sound. Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop me. It's just one thing or another, isn't it? What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? Almost certainly, Transfoxcall, almost certainly. I mean, he was on his phone at the same time. We've got to hurry and call for help. But we've no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken, and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we can stand a chance. Why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment? Is there a way? That's right, there is a way. What? How? For a minute you thought he crashed into the court building. That would be amazing. Thought you were going to see a car sticking through the wall like a Hard Rock Cafe. That would be amazing. I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Alright, he still has the transmitter on him. Right, we're not in the middle of a mock trial here. I guess this won't work, huh? I guess it's up to me. Alright, I'll think of something on my end. Don't get your hopes up too high, but I'll try my best. Did I say something wrong? Edgeworth? What is it? I don't have anyone right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent, and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say, Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears, whether you did your job well or not. That can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict? Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, Bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. Tss, goggles. Good lord, just kiss the tension away already. I have to take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. To be continued. Save your progress. Yes. Okay, this is going to be it. Everyone ready? March 23rd, 2:35 PM. District Court. Courtroom number 3. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready. Yes, Your Honour. Yes, Your Honour. I can understand the defence acting like this. However, why do you also seem so distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing, Your Honour. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impax's suicide note. Yes, Your Honour. Unfortunately, we've discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. I wasn't expecting that. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Order, order, order! Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what's going on? If this was not written by Miss Impact, then who wrote it? We'd need more time to do a detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Creeder. Is Edgeworth lying on the stand? No, I don't think that would be his style. Mr. Creeder? Well, well. It looks like Miss Impact never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about on guard. However, Your Honour, even though the suicide note is indeed fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so the facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound very plausible. This theory that On Guard had no idea that the suicide note was fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up until this point is true, then it's impossible for Edgeworth to not have known it was a fake. I mean, then it's impossible for Mr. Edgeworth to have not known it was a fake. Alright, camera. Oh yeah, Mr. On Guard. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, your response? I believe that even more important than finding out if this note is real or not, is whether or not the attorney's badge pinned to that man's chest is real. That is the million-dollar question. Edgeworth with those savage burns. Yes, I agree. Me too. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that I messed up again. Actually, there's something I would like to ask. Mr. Edgeworth, you had stated something earlier to the effect of the defendant had spied on Mr. Creed's private life. Okay. Guess that was just a no. It's no use. Something feels wrong, but I can't put my finger on what it is. A puzzle box in the shape of a bear, as I live and breathe. Actually, there is something I would like to ask. Mr. Edgeworth, you had stated something earlier to the effect of the defendant had spied on Mr. Creeder's private life. I believe this would mean he would have known about the note as well. Yeah, I didn't have that camera in evidence, so I couldn't have proven it. That's it. Yes, and so naturally, this means that Mr. On Guard would have known that the note was a fake. Order? See here, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honour. I was the one who thought of the spying thing. I have a spy cam in evidence, but the other spy cam is another spy cam, basically. I was the one who thought of the spying thing. Jumping in and stealing my thunder like that is simply... I can't even describe it. Yes, sorry. I could have even bragged about embarrassing Mr. Edgeworth to my grandchildren, had you not. For that I assign you a penalty, Mr. Wright. What? If only I kept my mouth shut. Wait, could I have actually avoided that? So then, the defendant knew this suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation has changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honour. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Ungar's motive for murder was, it has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But, Your Honour, it is not as if Mr. Ungar monitored Mr. Corrida 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the notes in a place Mr. Ungar didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you share us proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Ooh. Order, order, order! Mr. Edgeworth! It looks like at this time, it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. As you figured? As I figured. It came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you're not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. Ungar's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honour, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh, well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Okay, reminds me. Yes. Hey, little riddle for everyone. Can you guess what my favourite Regina Spektor song is? Edgeworth was there for the parrot. I mean, Edgeworth was the defendant for the parrot. The parrot was testifying to save him. Edgeworth stuttering. This is not like him at all. I reiterate, I want to see if anyone can guess my favourite Regina Spektor song. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is the one who's perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley the Killer to commit murder? That's impossible. No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness? It is, my grandma. Yes, go on, who is it? The man himself, Mr. Shelley the Killer. Oh, okay. I was way off. Oh, Mr. the Killer. Wait, Shelley the Killer? Indeed, trans fox girl, indeed. You mean the killer? I mean the assassin? He of the double butts inside? Are they just going to call him on the thingy? Yes, Your Honour. Wow, funny you mentioned that, no less. He's coming here, to the witness stand? Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognise that this time is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes. Is this alright with you? Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defence has no objections, Your Honour. I wonder if it really is alright to do this. Very well then. The prosecution calls its witness to the stand. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness. Your name and your occupation, please. For the records, it's on the radio. Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I am a professional assassin. I say? What is going on here? Your Honor, how can you remain so calm? And what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. the Killer himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof you're in fact Shelley the Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Mayor. Mayor. A voice? Mr. Wright? Can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley the Killer. It looks like we've run into another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There is one thing I'd like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And... Oh. Trans Fox Colors redeemed random trivia. Okay, random trivia. Tomorrow marks the day the Turner Foundation was established in 1997. Yeah, Goggles is right. This is It's actually less strange than the parrot incident. I mean, you know, as of 2020, it's the norm. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corrida. Is this correct? Having the murder weapon testify. I mean, assassins aren't really murder weapons. They're killers for hire. It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Corrida. Is it still less weird than the Zoom cat lawyer? Ironically, the killer is less likely to have abused his position to commit domestic abuse, I think. Now we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Sarah, is it correct? Ace Attorney is indeed weird as AF. Very well. This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it. A bad dream. Shelley the Killer. What's he going to say? About my client. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept. Before I give the name of my client. Trans Fox Girl. I was hired by Phoenix Wright himself. Goggles. Judge, please, you can't make legally binding judgments in a dream court of law. I mean, if it's his dream, he can do what he wants. Oh, thanks for the hydrate, Sarah. And the posture check. Okay, I needed that. Hydrate or dihydrate? Precisely. It is my wish you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Mr. the Killer seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. Although if he was that intelligent, why would he kill people for a living? While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honour, Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honour. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. How would he indeed know that? I mean, to be fair, it's been established that the killer's been under investigation for years. To the point there's a special task force. Why can't we can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your clients? I don't think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means? Sorry, go on. Well, it appears this is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright. That's only because you don't know about Mia's situation. Twist. Edgeworth hired the killer in the past to, capture Phoenix's heart. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that's why you're testifying in this manner? This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did... Yes? That person wouldn't be my client for very long. Because I'm a bloody assassin, you fool. They would certainly... That's enough. Please no more. Very well. It was only a hypothetical anyway. Or is it? And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. It is my wish... Ooh. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules, and I just outside their prescribed role. Their role? This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. You? Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now. Excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. We understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. That egomaniacal. It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. I don't really care about all this extra fluff. Just tell us the name already. Patience. Try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. Oh. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. Sorry, I forgot to read that out. These are the roles and duties an assassin and his client are to carry out. I'm sorry, but I was just wondering about something you just said. You said that your client has already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person? I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck. An assassin with a conscience, who'd have figured? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. Apparently, no less. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think. Really? In that case, I believe I'm prepared to disclose the information you seek. You've made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we're ready. Excellent. And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness? What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida? That person's name is Gordon Freeman. Adrian Andrews. What? Witness. That's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. the Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back? I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer called him a different name. Matt on guard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you are the one who summoned the witness. You, surely the killer. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden, it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there's a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. Dicker's client, who requested the murder, was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it's obvious to me that this means Mr. Matt on guard is innocent. I seem to have all caused you a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you've reached a verdict. Beep. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. What now? With the way this is going, on guard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And on guard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honour, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shady the killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Wait, it wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was all one big lie. Miss Andrews? The suicide note may have been fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. Oh, this is all over a Tumblr profile. That testimony just now, you have to believe me. It was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. Nicola himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. Yep, no less. Welcome to my twisted world. The knife and the button, donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We knew that Miss Celeste in Paris was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. No. Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story. Who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. Yes, I know the truth. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I believe we've just reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. Yeah, it was a very cliched thing to put in your bio. Especially if it was an edgy guy. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Mayor? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? Phoenix. I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You're a lawyer. I know, but Massengard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I'm no better than on guard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten Edgard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I never thought about it until now. I trust him. Yes, you do. Wait. Last night, dinner. 1 year after the first time we had dinner. Was that an anniversary? Are we dating? Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer. Well, am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through the witness's lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at, and I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well, the trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. the Killer. Right away, Your Honor. Surely they don't kill the condemned the same day. I mean, it's the Phoenix Wright universe. For all we know, the bailiff just takes them out back and shoots them the moment they're convicted. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we'd like to talk with you a little more. About? All you need from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we'd like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done? But what should we have him testify about now? Mr. the Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. Is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? About my client's part 2. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that one creator was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. Oops.
This is the most unexpected turn of events, for the 5th time now. However, this time, everything has finally been revealed.
Just a second, Your Honour.
Yes, Mr. Edgeworth?
We still have the cross-examination to do.
But you don't need to question the testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright?
Your Honour, the defence will question the witness, as if I have a choice here.
Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defence's case. If you scrutinise the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us.
Okay, just going to clickety-click to the end to see that bit of dialogue I missed. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client has broken the rules. So now I must pull out all her pubic hair and kick her ass with karate. Tenacious D, no less.
What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his end, but I have to do something to waste more time. Witness, about requesting a hit.
Yes?
How much is your fee?
I see you're also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney.
Huh?
If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial.
No, I'm not thinking of hiring... Mr. Wright? Yes? You want to kill... You want to kill me? You want me dead, don't you? What? Why do you think something like that, Your Honour? Guilty. Mr. Finney's right, you are hereby declared guilty. You want to assassinate, Judge? Jail for Phoenix Wright. Jail for 1,000 years.
That escalated quickly. Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not?
I would think most people wouldn't be able to overlook hiring a person hiring another to kill.
If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job.
Yeah. Well, a change in occupation might be good for you.
However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, My clients are always the real guilty party. That goes without saying, Mr. De Killer. But you're still a bloody assassin, you blithering idiot. And their fate is to live with that knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. Hey, Bericlaire. The judge decided that Phoenix was going to hire him for an assassination. I mean, going to hire an assassin to kill him. It makes sense in context. And how are you doing? I'm just trying to wrap this up before D&D later. Oh yeah, just as a reminder to everyone, today's D&D game is going to be on Nick's D&D YouTube channel. That's Cursed RP. Just literally Cursed RP on YouTube. So follow that if you want to catch it in 3/4 of an hour. By which time I've hopefully wrapped up this. However, my client this time thought that they could run away from their guilt. Looking at a cute lady, your day is way better. Ah, is it me?
Are you talking about the button and the knife?
Yes, and my business card.
Oh, this card.
So that no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make a point to make things as easy as possible.
You try and make things easy?
My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out the service.
He's pretty devoted to his work.
But to disregard everything, to go and stab the deceased with a knife, and even hide my card from sight. That cost me business, you know. That is something I cannot overlook.
It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing?
That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. Should the killer know what Andrews did, he only knows that because of the cameras, right? Well, the testimony, I think that came out in testimony, so who knows. If you should use my services, Mr. Attorney, I would suggest you plan for your alibi too.
No, I already told you. I have no intention of using your services, ever. Why do you keep looking at me like that? I'm the one on trial here.
Poor Phoenix.
From the very beginning?
That is correct. From before my client visited the room, all my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times.
I wonder if that's really true.
That's odd. But even more appalling is the creation of... I think that hint was that the key thing I need to question is that Adrian Andrews already knew. So why do you think your client did that?
What do you mean?
Wait, what do you mean by why?
Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky. And why did someone who has requested a murder go to the scene of the crime anyway? That is true.
I assume it was probably done to frame Mr. On Guard.
If that's the case, why didn't the person just request that you do it?
Sadly, that is not possible.
Huh?
My job is to kill. That is all. And to leave my business card behind, naturally. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone else up to take your fall.
And that's all you have to testify?
Yes, and I pray I will never be called to the stand again.
Again? As in you plan to continue?
I must, as I have yet to find the person to take my place and become the fourth successor. You could prove it was Matt by proving De Killer saw the video feed and therefore had a connection to Matt. Yeah, that's true. Actually, how'd you like a new life, Mr. Attorney?
Excuse me? No, I'm fine, really. Also, announcing I intend to become an assassin in court wouldn't make would be a bad career move. Are you really now? I wonder what kind of man the judge thinks I am now.
Yep, trans fox girl. Phoenix right. Assassin. It has a ace assassin. It still works. No less. Ace attorney. Surprise sequel to Hitman. What are you going to do now, Phoenix?
All I can do now is expose the lies.
That's true. However, you realise that will be very bad for our client, right?
I'm so confused. But the one thing I know for sure is I can't let this trial end yet.
Okay, so... that strongly hinted that the contradiction is... I need to find something that proves that she wasn't the first person. Wasn't pretending. Goggles could imagine Phoenix murdering with fish. What proves it?
Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence. It does? I don't see anything contradictory. Huh? Really? Objection denied. Try to think before you make out.
Okay, maybe not. Okay, so I need to find something that proves that she couldn't have, she had to have been the first one to... Okay, that's not it. Yeah, if anyone wants to look up spoilers to hurry this along, that's fine. Okay, I need to find something that proves she didn't know he was already dead. Oh. Yeah, she picked up the tomato juice in a shock.
Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. the Killer.
What is the meaning of that attitude?
When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that one creator had been murdered. But how? How do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honor. The glass? Mr. Killer's supposed client thought Mr. Creeder had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That's not possible, Your Honor. The glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would have never left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what's your opinion?
Strangely enough, I had the same thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to talk about such a minor detail? It is not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you're mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge of Mr. Creeder's death. If not, then it can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. how strange.
Yes?
Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know, you can't say things like that without any evidence. Wink.
Ha, sorry.
Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you.
Anyway, I'm positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecutor requests further testimony concerning when that request was taken. Very well.
Right, now I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, I just know that it is the very outcome of this trial lies with those items.
Request taking. This request came to me about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We were at a certain bar to discuss and finalise a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes.
So you physically met your client, huh?
That is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please.
I think I know where this is going. Well, I've played this game through before, so I know where it's going, but...
1 week ago, are you sure?
Yes, I'm quite sure. I of course had my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you'll keep that in mind.
Please, stop.
In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind.
A specific date and time?
Does Andrews not drink? I swear you remember them saying that. I don't think it's come up.
Did you ask why on that specific night?
No, I tried to fulfill all the conditions of my client's request. But as for why, I only had my suspicions.
Your suspicions, huh? So what are these suspicions you had? Why did your client request that night?
I'm sure it was for the bear, all for the bear.
The bear?
My client spoke of it. I'm sure there'll be a bear-shaped figurine in one creator's room. I'd like you to retrieve that item for me.
You must be talking about this bear puzzle.
Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose its content at the press conference, after all. That is correct. And if I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where that bear figurine was.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony of that... The testimony just now has made one thing clear, and that is... the client knew the secret of the bear figurine. Huh? Why is everyone so quiet? Mr. Wright, I think all of us already knew that. Oh, really?
Witness, please continue with your testimony.
So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right?
Of course I did.
What was that? What was with the brief pause?
He hasn't met her.
Witness, I'd like for you to give us a few more details.
I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by telephone or mail.
And why is that?
And why is that? That is because I value the trust between the client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye.
Well, Mr. Wright, was that testimony just now of any importance? Of course, it was very important, Your Honor. If Mr. Killer had met his client before the murder, then it is very unlikely he is mistaken. So you're saying his client really was Adrian Andrews? I guess so.
You see, it is just as I said.
I'm so lost. Who the heck am I supposed to be helping here?
Calm down, Phoenix. Think carefully and relax.
Now then, will the witness please continue? So your client was Adrian Andrews?
That is correct.
Well, he says the two of them met. But if they did, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the killer's testimony. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything strange this time around.
You have to draw information from him. You can't draw a suspicion. If you can do that, you should be able to find a flaw in his testimony somewhere.
Talk about a delicate balance.
Let it go.
It's probably just my imagination. Can we believe your testimony up to this point has been reliable?
Wait. If Adrian didn't do it, then he couldn't have met her, so that's what I need to question him on, right?
Why he meets his client is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions.
What do you mean by that?
My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person?
I have already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only talking with him. I can't believe you misgendered Samus Aran. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. That's when I thought, I can trust this person as a client. Pictures, someone I've only ever spoken to on the phone.
It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now is of the utmost importance. Huh? Really?
If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. Got him. My evidence. Ding.
I'd like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at the bar and took the quest at that time.
Yes, that is correct.
And that's when you thought he was trustworthy.
How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. Yep, Jan. Silly assassin. Samus is a girl.
I'm sorry, but that's an impossible tale.
What? Why?
Shelly the killer? You have never met the real Adrian Andrews.
Why would you say that?
Because you made one very big slip-up. About her.
So what is the issue? What did you just say? What did you say just now? About her?
If you'd ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman.
Oh, thanks for the hydrate and posture check, Sarah. 30 minutes to go. Literally me when someone only knows me over the phone.
Order? Order in the court. Mr. Bright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face to face with his clients when not taking their request. But he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honour, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. DeKiller's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. He literally didn't notice that everyone was calling her Miss Adrian Andrews. How the heck did he become an assassin? Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake?
I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honour.
Her name?
Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name.
Yes, I see.
Unluckily for Mr. DeKiller, the entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender. And so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. Yes, Trans Foxcal, the radio itself, is sweating.
What? What is going on? Shady the Killer, I can't believe an assassin would lie to me. This court demands an explanation.
I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you'd allow me to testify once more.
I know he's just going to spit out more lies. Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth.
Request taking part 2. Yes, now I remember I took that request by mail. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of 1 Creeder and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man.
So you took this job for a letter. He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying.
Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us.
I know, I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing across the room from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin this cross-examination.
Yeah, it's an obvious contradiction, but I think the idea is I can't risk making him suspicious.
But didn't you just say you always meet your clients?
Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible.
But didn't you meet your client this time?
No, I did not.
Oh, come on. Come now, let's stop with this game of cat and mouse.
No less, found the walkthrough, by the way. Side note, fandom has horrendous ads. I know it. Yep, it's a good thing lying in court isn't a crime. Or this assassin with many murders hanging over him might be in serious trouble. Using your silkiest voice is not going to work on me.
Alright then, just cough it up and confess. Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words.
Jan, this is illegal advice. Lying in court is in fact a crime. Please don't lie in court.
You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. DeKiller met with his client? Very well, I'll show you proof.
Are you sure about this, Phoenix?
Here is the proof that the witness met with his client who wished Mr. Creeder dead.
Okay, I don't think that I've actually got proof. Maybe willpowers?
So, what do you think?
You may say, what do you think? However, I am for all intents and purposes a transceiver radio.
Oh, that's right, you can't actually see the evidence.
Well, I don't think this was what I needed to see. I can hear the pure silence in the air there.
How could I have picked the wrong piece of time like this?
Okay, let's try that again.
I'm sorry, Your Honour. Unfortunately, I don't have any proof. I see. Then your line of questioning is just another waste of time.
Sadly for us, Your Honour, that is the nature of right and wrong.
And why could you not meet certain clients?
Recently, I've been receiving more requests. If I meet each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities. Yep, Edgeworth, please.
Nice business opportunities?
On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? Well, I have joined the times and now take requests via electronic mail.
Electronic mail? Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope?
Ah, I'm so very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. Poor people who played the Japanese original. The save option there was basically save and quit, and that's prevented saves coming. Yeah, I played the DS version, and that basically meant, it was also save and quit, but it didn't actually delete your save after you loaded it, so it was a de facto save. What I meant by electronic mail, which is what is commonly referred to as email.
Email? In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot hands down.
Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client and...
Two or three other things?
Yes,
And what were those other things?
a few of those other things that have nothing to do with this case.
What should I do? Should I just let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad.
The killer is Sheldon.
The killer sounds like one sharp man. I should try and find the best way to do this without making him suspicious. Let's continue with the testimony. Witness, if you please. So you're saying you never saw your client's face, not even once?
I did, once. It was when I went to give my client the figurine.
Yes, I see.
But Miss Andrews was wearing a mask at the time.
A mask? The nickel samurai mask, I'm guessing. Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about this? Do you have any problems with this piece of testimony?
Yep, there's a contradiction here because it was found in the on-guard mansion.
One thing does sort of stick out at me, Your Honour. Witness, I think you most definitely saw your client's face. Let's recall Mr. Powers' testimony.
After the award ceremony, I went myself to Matt's room. Matt was standing there in front of his room, still in his nickel samurai costume. Matt gave the bellboy a tip.
You received quite a large roll of cash from Mr. On Guard, and at the time, he was not wearing his nickel samurai mask. Ooh.
Yeah, the nickel samurai wears a mask. it's actually a plot point that those characters wear a mask because Will Powers basically because Will Powers, who was the last who was the Steel Samurai before them, could only have a career in showbiz with his face hidden.
Order? Yes, now that you mention it, I do remember that. Witness?
Yes, that night I did wander the floor as a bellboy. I received plenty of tips that night for carrying juice to various rooms. Is that so wrong?
Huh?
The man who gave me that tip was not my client. He was probably just a very generous person. I'm sorry, but sadly we're not nearly so generous here. If I could receive larger rolls of cash by simply bringing people things on trays, then why on earth would I stand around here prosecuting?
Oh, the deja vu. And isn't his salary more than enough for one man? And where is your evidence that the large roll of cash was not in fact a tip? Come, Mr. Edgeworth, show me the money.
What? Mr. Attorney.
Yes?
You know, I think your line of questioning has been a little strange. In fact, I would say you don't seem to believe Miss Andrews is my client.
Oh, no, it's not like that at all. It's just I think lies aren't a good thing, you know.
Oh, I know. I agree. Lies are not a good thing at all. I think we're on the same page now, aren't we, Mr. Attorney? Remember, if I feel threatened in any way, I'm free to cut contact at any time.
I'm sorry. Please forgive my foolishness. If only you were this apologetic all the time. Anyway, I do not see a huge contradiction here. Therefore, you may continue witness.
We've pretty much reached the end of our rope here.
Huh? Seems like we're still okay to me.
And that's exactly why it's so bad. At the rate we're going, we'll completely end up destroying To Killer's lie. If we do that, you already know how serious a situation that'll put us in.
Oh yeah? All I can do now is pray that those items reach us in time.
Okay, push here then.
Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide.
Mr. Attorney.
Yes?
Everything I've said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you're planning to betray your own client?
That's...
I smell the stench of a backstabber, and should you turn out to be one?
Wait. Oh, this is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck alright. I have to think, is this worth pursuing? Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what those other jobs your client requested were.
If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine.
The bear figurine?
After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing.
And what was that figurine?
It was inside Mr. Greener's suitcase.
And then what did you do next?
I handed it over to my client right away. Do I want a hint? Yes, I do.
You gave it to your client? Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony.
As you wish.
I found this at Mr. Onguard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing here?
I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan to frame Mr. Onguard, I'm sure.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this one piece of testimony? So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I somewhere in that statement there's a contradiction, and yet I know that if I prevent something trivial here,
He'll cut the connection on his end. If you want to make a strong point, Phoenix, you have to present strong evidence.
she's right. So now what, Dr. Wright? It's no use as long as I can't.
At some point, the killer gets pissed and threatens to kill Maya. Then the judge decides his client is Miss Andrews after all. They let the killer hang up, and then Matt takes the stand.
Pressing this witness any. Well then, Miss Witness, please continue.
Okay, so I need to get him angry.
Witness, let's go over this one more time. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine, and she told you to take it to the bear and wait for it on guard mansion. Is that correct?
Yes, where are you going with this?
Well, I think you may have remembered a few things incorrectly. What? This is a battle of wits, I can't let up on him. I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear.
Oh yeah, if she had the bear, she'd have opened it.
Shelley the killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it.
This item? I see where you're going.
Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony.
I was going to burn it for her sake.
If for even a single minute this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burnt it. Order, order, order! So that's where you two are going.
So by this very fact the suicide note was still in the bear, it tells us your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle.
Which means?
It means, Your Honor, that it is impossible for Aiden Andrews to be the client.
Oh? Order, order, order!
Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I've mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement.
No, that's not.
That's enough. If that is your intention, there is only one thing for me to do.
Wait, please.
Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to.
No, please, not that. Please wait.
This thing is not really near over yet. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, otherwise I may stay my hand. Otherwise. Okay.
What in the... Mr. Wright? Are you... Mr. Edgeworth?
Okay, D&D's in 10 minutes, so maybe I should wrap it up here. How much more of this is left? Okay, there's at least 2 more testimonies then. Okay, I'll have to finish it here then and... Alright, just to remind everyone, today's D&D stream is going to be over on Nick's D&D YouTube channel instead of his Twitch. So that's Cursed RP. Literally just Cursed RP. Hang on. I'll just paste that into the chat. So, yep, feel free to follow the, I think there's a thing you can click to get notified as soon as it starts, so feel free to click on that. And that's going to be in literally 10 minutes, so I better go find someone to raid. Kiara, this has been a Coral stream. Glad you enjoyed it. If anyone has any suggestions on who to raid, feel free to make them. I'm just going to load Twitch now. And I'm literally going to jump into that stream and say goodbye, so... yeah. Doc the Snorlax. I think I've raided them before, so... yep, why not? You're welcome, Sarah. Thanks for dropping by. I will have fun at D&D. Come on, Twitch, please load. I was kind of hoping to wrap up Phoenix Wright 2 today, but guess that will have to wait until next Friday. Which may be on Twitch and maybe on YouTube, depending on how it goes today. Any day now. Guess it just wants to be slow. Okay, it's loading, it's loading. You have the RP stream up in the other tab. Excellent, Nolus. Okay. Doc the Snorlax doesn't seem to be live. Unless it unfollowed or something. Then again, no one else seems to be live, so... Kiara's almost at 80k points. I'm sure you'll reach 1 million points on this channel eventually. Well, in any case, we're going to quick rate. Yeah, Yep, we're just going to read quickly in 3, 2, 1. Not really much time for anything else, so I'll send you over now. Bye. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. LOL.